Hyun, so many fond memories. We renamed GSL Belshire Beach TSL Hyunshire Beach, specifically because I don't think I ever saw him lose a match on that map, especially ZVP. But we'll talk about that another time, guys. We are into the best of threes here at the World Championship Series EU qualifier, and spawning in the top right-hand position is the red Terran player in this best of three. We have none other than Imperium Gaming's Soul. His opponent spawning in the bottom left-hand corner as the pink Protoss player, a very strong Grandmaster who I've recently had the privilege of casting with, a really fun guy, but that means nothing right now. He needs to focus on the game and nothing else. Can he do it? Representing Fnatic Gaming, we have Harstem.
So, PVT. One of the biggest changes to the early game is, of course, the Mothership core. Having Photon Overcharge makes defending certain timing pushes a lot easier, but late game it is still all about the Terran's army composition, getting the right number of Ghosts and Vikings to deal with Colossi and High Templar. That is what this will all come down to if we get that far. Of course, boost medevac's really strong. Widow Mines as well for Soul can be absolutely devastating to a small gateway force, so those are all the sort of things that we're going to be having to keep an eye out for. Could potentially even get some Widow Mine drops, which are exceptionally exciting and great fun to see go down. But currently, we've just got a gas and a Rax coming down for Soul, and a gas and a gateway for Harstem.
Yep, we'll wait a little while to see exactly what these players end up going. I mean, we saw Harstem recently, of course, Metals, take on Nama in that best of 9, where the show match for ESET, where I believe Harstem effectively did the same build every single game, win or lose.
Yep. He was consistent, that's what we can say.
I'm trying to remember exactly what that build was.
Wasn't it... I've had a brain freeze.
Oh, God. No, me too. It's like, I remember specifically he was doing the same build every single game. I think it was like a 3-gate Stargate expand or something like that. No, it can't be. I don't remember. It'll come to me eventually, though. We were casting that, so... we should recall, and chances are he'll show us a lot of the same here, because it is once again a PVT. He's practiced a lot of that against Nama, of course, who is a teammate of his, and it wouldn't surprise us one bit if he went for a similar strategy this time around. The command center going down now for Soul, and meanwhile for Harstem, Cybernetics core about to finish as he starts his third pylon in base.
Now, I really want to say it was really quick High Templar. Was that what Harstem was doing every game? Was that Harstem?
Oh God, yeah, the clutch storms that kept saving him.
Yes, that was it. That was exactly it.
Oh my goodness! Like every time we thought Nama, okay, this push is fantastic. Nama's about to win this game, and then Harstem pops out with like 2 storms out of nowhere that decimate the entire army, and we're like, well, I guess Protoss wins this now. And he did that what 3, maybe 4 times in a best of 9. It was amazing.
Storms are certainly a good ability. They work very well. Harstem, though, he's taking down his Nexus. The Reaper will spot it, though, will just kind of dance around, shooting things, dealing an incredibly small amount of damage on each hit, because, of course, Reapers got their guns nerfed, which was never too fun for them. A bunker also coming down behind this, just defensively for Soul at the moment. The Mothership core, though, coming out and saying, no, Reaper, you will leave now. And the Reaper does indeed leave.
See, I think maybe a Zerg player went to Blizzard and said, look, either you nerf the damage that Reapers do to a point where it's basically a bit of a tickle, or you buff sentry damage to a point where sentries can just run around killing everything. And Blizzard were like, whoa, 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 we can't have that. And therefore meant that Reapers in Heart of the Swarm now effectively shoot drunk. Can't actually get any vital organs.
They literally do just have like a little dark gun or something. It does so little unless you get up a good number of them, and then it becomes exceptionally fun.
Imagine like Reapers running around with paintball guns. It's like shooting a sentry, trying to blind it, because that's all it can do. And here we go. 1 Reaper into the main base, and Harstem, oh, not able to get away with that, actually. And managing to get 1 picked off. The Mothership core is going to possibly kill this. No, it doesn't look like he'll be able to at this point in time. And the Reaper gets away scot-free. Number of workers killed, still only 1. But crucially, more important for Soul, is the scouting information he got.
Yeah, that scouting information is so essential because that allows you to read what your opponent's doing, knows about the robotics facility, knows about that it was basically a one gate into a Nexus, into a Robo. Very, very tech-heavy and economical-heavy build, which means that Sol can be completely safe from any form of early aggression. We do have Stim on its way down, as well as +1, and the factory also coming through. So we all know how much Terran players like going for a +1 Stim combat shield with 2 medevac style push, so that could definitely be on the cards and something that obviously Harstem does need to watch out for.
A couple of hallucinated Phoenix are going to spot pretty much everything that's going on in Sol's base at the moment. Saw the factory being built, saw the engineering bay as well, so potential for a +1 timing to coincide with an upgrade, which is most likely going to be Stim. So Harstem needs to watch out for that just a little bit, and indeed in about 1 in-game minute's time he could potentially have that. Oh, very nice deny there on a potential follow-up scout, although Harstem already knows about everything.
Yep, Harstem is completely aware of everything that's coming down. We've also got the robotics bay and 2 forges on its way down for Harstem, so he's going to be taking up 2 of those Colossi, not High Templar, that we've seen him use so effectively in the past. We've also got all 4 gas up and running, and 3 gas up and running for Sol.
It's just occurred to me, taking a look at what Sol just did. Oh, never mind, we have a Reaper. Is he actually going to... He does actually get another probe there. Those plates... Oh, I'm afraid this Reaper is pretty trapped right now. He's not having a good time. There we go.
That Reaper deserves a medal, though. It got 2 kills. 2 kills on 1 Reaper is incredible.
You know the unbuildable plates?
I do.
They were at the bottom of the ramp. There must be a more efficient way to get them out of the way than pummel them with bullets for about 30 seconds. There must be something. You guys could just lift it up and move it away, and they're like, no, we actually have to fill this full of lead. If it doesn't explode, we don't accept that it's gone.
Or get like a tank out or something, or a medevac. A medevac could just lift them out the way.
Oh, wouldn't it? I think medevac should be able to lift like other units as well.
What,
but if you lift it, like, yeah, but if you lift it like a Zergling, it slowly destroys the medevac because it's tearing up the medevac from inside. But I think that'd be really cool.
Although, could you imagine
like an Ultralisk?
Could you imagine like the Reddit like wine threads when your entire army got boosted away or something?
Dude, that would actually be so imbalanced, right? So what you do is you pick up the entirety of your opponent's army and then boost into like dead space. So if they killed the medevacs, they just fall off the map. I've worked it out, guys. New metagame. Legacy of the Void. David Kim, I've got it. Medevacs needs to lift enemy units.
Also, because the enemy units will be dropped into the Void as well. That would be why it's such a lore factual way to go into that build. But we've got currently Sol moving forward. Proton Overcharge was triggered. A single Colossus is saying no and pushing it back. We do see though that Extended Thermal Lance is not even begun researching yet, so that means you've got to be a little bit cautious not to get your single Colossus sniped off though. Looking behind this, you've got the armory coming out, and upgrade wise we're looking at 1-1 against 1-0.
Yeah, not too much separating these players at this moment in time. Harstem doing a good job of defending. He's going to be patrolling around the top of his ramp, and the Observer actually sees the double medevac drop coming into his main base, so he's going to be able to pull back with his army reasonably quickly indeed. Do these medevacs spot that the army's here? Yes, he does. He sees those 2 Stalkers, and he's like, I do not want any part in this. And, oh, no. Trying to use the boost again to see...
Oh, the third base taking a bit of damage, trying to go down there for Harstem, but a good number of infantry, and those 2 medevacs will force a lot of units to pull back, and this is really splitting Harstem on where he wants to defend.
Unable to get the cancel there on the 3rd base location. Harstem, though, leaving a decent number of gateway units in his main base to guard against that potential double drop, which he knows is still incoming. Oh dear, a little bit of a misrally there from Sol. Loses a Marine and a Marauder out front. Sol currently a 104 supply versus the 116 of Harstem. The work supply is dead even at 52, and we have got 1-1 upgrades now complete for both players.
So, this is where things started leveling out. Harstem going for the tech switch though, and that is the important thing that Sol needs to identify, because if he doesn't spot that, he needs to make sure that he gets his Ghost Academy out. He doesn't yet have it on the field, and really that's quite a quick tech switch actually, just a single Colossus. It's a bit of a mind game that some Protoss players like using, but Stan's just seeing precisely what is on the field for Harstem. Sol is completely aware of what his opponent's doing, and also sending a few units in towards the natural base, and there is not much there to defend him.
Yeah, he's coming back in. He's trying to snipe off the 3rd Nexus. He might be able to do so here if he's not careful. All the shields are gone now, and yes, he will get it. He needs to lift up and get out of there. Oh, doesn't even have to lift up at the end of the... Oh, God, he does now. Come on, get out of there in the medevacs. Needs to activate that boost. There we go. So picking up the third base of Harstem there with a multi-pronged attack. Those units in the natural, holding off the army from Harstem just long enough for him to take apart that Nexus. Really nice play there from our Terran.
Now Sol has remembered that he had a couple of units outside the natural of Harstem and starts moving forward. The Mothership Core is going to get sniped down. Good little pick off there in exchange for just 2 Marines. Definitely a worthwhile trade. And as we can see, Sol, he's taken his third behind this and is looking very, very comfortable at the moment.
He needs to be careful though. I mean, his third is up in mining, but the standing army of Harstem is huge. It's 81 versus 63 of Sol, and there is a Colossus in there as well. One thing I really like from Sol is that he didn't overcommit to Vikings. He saw the one Colossus and decided, okay, I'm not actually going to make 6 or 8 Vikings in anticipation of second or third Colossus come out. You come out with the second or third Colossus, and then I'll see what I'm going to do. So really cool
we've got some
there.
Zealots charging down at the top, trying to get Sol out of position. A couple more Zealots will meet the reinforcements and will be forced back, but this is not really where Sol wants to be engaging. He's got a very small number of units there. The Ghost Academy is nearly finished though, and of course you need those Ghosts when you're to get some EMPs off against so many Zealots just to stop them tanking up quite so much damage.
I like what Sol's doing, though. He's basically just led Harstem in a circle. He couldn't fight Harstem in a straight-up fight, so he moved Harstem's army effectively through a circle through the middle of the map, literally just ringing around the rosy a little bit so that Harstem's attack, potentially against the third base, gets delayed, and that's bought him an extra minute. Is it going to be enough, though? The Ghost Academy is out, but I see no Ghost being produced at this time, so he's not going to have EMP available.
But luckily Harstem doesn't have Storm available yet. It's only a quarter done in terms of its research, so he can try to utilize that. And of course Harstem's going to have a tough time trying to push up that ramp, to be honest, because the concave would be so good for Sol. But he's going for it. A couple of Zealots are taking a bit of damage, pulling back, desperately wants those rocks down.
There we go. The Vikings were out of position at the forward watchtower there, actually, for Sol. They're going to come in very useful when trying to snipe off the Colossus, and now we can see them coming back in. And Harstem looking like he has to move out, and with that third base snipe from Sol there, he's done a pretty good job. Harstem, though, once he gets Psionic Storm in 3-3, because don't forget, Armor level 2 is only starting to be researched now from Sol. That's about halfway done. Harstem's going to have Psionic Storm plus a good lead in those upgrades, and that might be quite difficult for Sol to engage into unless he gets some perfect EMPs.
Yeah, those EMPs would have to be very, very strong. And of course, we know how good Harstem is with those Psionic Storms. 3-3 upgrades are nearly complete for the Protoss player, whereas 2-1 is done at the moment for Sol, with +2 infantry armor nearly done. A quick pause coming down for Sol here, so not quite sure what's going on there, but hopefully it will be resumed. So, Jorosol, would you like to do a quick recap on what we've seen so far this game?
Yeah, certainly. Basically, Sol... his macro not quite up to scratch to Harstem's in the early game. Harstem able to get that early third base up and take a supply lead against Sol for a little while, but with an excellent multi-pronged attack, he was able to pick apart the third Nexus and then rush back. Harstem had a very strong counterattack timing, but then got taken for a little bit of a walk around the map, which leads us in this situation now where Sol has technically been ahead economically for a couple of minutes, but Harstem now beginning to put a bit of pressure on the third base, and as a result, Sol needs to remember to keep building SCVs, because he's actually down 66 to 53 right now, even after picking apart that third base early.
I think one of the most important things was that run around the map, which bought Sol time. If Harstem had just been able to run in, he could have taken the small army that Sol had very, very easily and possibly won the game there. But by delaying, getting more reinforcements out, it decided to look a lot nicer, and things are looking very, very level at the moment. That Storm not quite on the money. The Ghosts are there ready. Ghosts do not have personal cloaking field down though, so do need to be a little bit careful. They're also at the front, and a couple of EMPs did go off there. Snipe on a High Templar, very nicely done by the Terran player.
Very patient here from Sol, but his army is so clumped up. All Harstem needs is 1 or 2 very good storms here, and Sol's army could evaporate. Sol's doing a great job picking up this High Templar right now, but there only need to be a couple, and here come the Vikings in to try and pick apart the Colossus, able to pick off one, the second one on about half hit points, and here comes the rest of the army. Are we going to see some EMPs? We need some very good ones here. The High Templar is coming in from Harstem. There are the storms. 1, 2, the first one doing great job, the second one not so much here, and we need some more medevacs because these are getting very low on energy.
They are starting to get very, very low, and of course there are more coming out. +3 Terran infantry weapons are done. Of course the upgrade advantage is there for Harstem. He's charging in. It looks like Sol is going to try and take this engagement here. The Archons doing some nice damage. The Colossus is down, but the standing army for Sol is looking very, very small indeed. Both Archons do still survive. And in terms of the army supply, it's 93 for Harstem to just 54 of Seoul. This is a tough spot. Some cannons have even been placed very, very forward to have something to fall back to. So I'd say Seoul, he's got to pull something very nice out of the bag right now to stay in this game.
Seoul got a couple of good EMPs out there on the army, but by the time he got those EMPs down, the Zealots themselves at the front of the army were already surrounding him. So the EMPs didn't get that many of the Zealots. They mainly got a lot of the Stalkers there. And the Zealots really were the ones that were doing an incredible amount of damage to his army. So in that sense, it wasn't the most fantastic engagement, but he is making 4 Marauders and 4 Marines at the same time. +3 attack is going to finish soon. Harstem's upgrade advantage is going to be minimized after that +3 attack comes down. So he ideally wants to try and find a way to go again now, but he's being a little bit hesitant, and I wonder if this is giving Seoul enough time to possibly mount a defense here.
Well, Harstem looking to be going up to tech switch again, getting 2 additional robotics facilities down, but this third orbital command is completely undefended and gets taken out exceptionally quickly. Quite a few SCVs could also get taken down here, and there goes the economic lead that Seoul had. Completely annihilated. Meanwhile, Harstem is double expanding behind this, and that means that as long as he deals with any counter push, he should be in a very comfortable spot. But as we can see, a good number of Marines have been dropped out of that medevac and will start moving forward.
Yep, so he's got to drop at the 4th base location. He's going to be bolstering that with the rest of his army now as well. And Harstem, he looks like he's actually going back to defend this right now. The Zealots actually, oh, they're having a lot of SCVs for breakfast there. That is disgusting. 45, 46, 48 workers killed from Harstem so far this game. Those SCVs were not in a great position. And yes, this base looking like it's very much under siege, but it's definitely not enough to make up this deficit. And Harstem now takes a 60 supply lead.
That is an astronomical lead, and as we can see, he's just moving forward. Some good EMPs go off though, but the storms are still there. There's still a bit of energy left on those High Templar, and Seoul, he's down to just such a small standing army, has managed to clean out all of the Zealots. That means the Stalkers and Colossi are tanking up the damage, but there goes down some more storms, and Seoul down to just 80 supply. A great storm hitting there, and while there is a lift up, there's nothing to take out those medevacs. So this is starting to look very, very much like it's going to be Harstem's game. Seoul really doing the best he could have hoped for there, and there is the GG out.